Welcome back to Mountain Connections. We are very much looking forward to speaking with Patty, the pet psychic. She is local here and has the ability to communicate with animals in a different way than any of us even understand or know. Patty, thanks for joining us.
You bet.
So I'm curious about your background and what made you decide to become a pet psychic.
I don't think anybody really decides to do that. I was born with the ability to communicate with animals, and I was probably 10 years old before I realized other people didn't do it.
And I just am intrigued by this entire idea. I would love to really know what my dog and what my cat really think. So how are you able to read an animal? You help out with any kind of companion animal. When you have a session or approach that relationship between humans and animals, where do you start?
Animals think in pictures and emotions. And if you remember, that was how you communicated when you were a young child before you learned language. Animals don't think in language. So what I do is take their pictures and the emotions that they feel and put it into words for their people. It's almost like narrating a movie. I can see their experiences and I can ask them questions and respond back and forth. We do have a conversation. It's just not necessarily verbal.
And right now, many people are staying at home or they're home more than they normally are. How is this affecting our pets?
It's in some ways good and some ways bad. It's not universal for all animals. Some of them are delighted that their people are home. They're just thrilled. They have so much more attention. They're not bored. They're more stimulated. Others are not quite on that page. They're annoyed that you're home. They really kind of want you to go to work so they can do their routine. And a lot of animals are picking up their human stress. So they don't know what the coronavirus is, and they don't know why you're home. It's just upset their routine. And routine is really important to them. So that's one thing that people can really do to lessen the stress on their animals. You know, keep their feeding time, their walk time, their play time, their bedtime as stable as you can. If you're taking your dog for 20 walks a day because you're bored, he's exhausted. He's tired. You know, he's not used to that. He needs to get some rest. If you are giving him 30 treats a day because you forgot you gave him a treat 10 minutes ago and you feel guilty because they're not getting to go outside and play, that's not healthy for them. You know, one thing that's really important right now is to apply the boundaries that you have. You know, the house rules still apply, and if they're not allowed to do something in a normal situation, they're not allowed to do it now. And being home, you know, being with them 24/7 can give you some great opportunities. This is a great time to do some training. You know, it's fun to teach animals tricks, and believe it or not, cats are smart and can learn tricks. It takes a little bit of effort. And it's a nice time to maybe practice some obedience. You paid for that class 5 years ago and haven't really done anything with it. Get your dog out in the backyard, come, sit, stay, heel, practice the basics. You know, it can be a great time to bond with your animal, but just be aware that sometimes what you think they want and what they really want can be different.
You make such a good point. I think sometimes we take for granted our pets and their emotions, and we don't necessarily think about how this is affecting them. I like that you mentioned to keep them on their routine. Also, be aware that they may be affected by this. I learned that my dog doesn't like to run with me, which surprised me, but it's important to kind of read those emotions and know that they might be picking up on our stress. So you mentioned some things we can do, like sticking to a routine, but what else can we do if we're feeling like our pet is maybe a little off or is really picking up on our stress?
It's, you know, it's a stressful time, and we can't just make our stress go away. If you, you know, try not to show it to them. You know, don't take it out on them if you're frustrated. if you're trying to work from home and, you know, you're on a conference call and your dog just dropped a slimy tennis ball in your lap, plan ahead, keep the dog out of the room, you know, give them some exercise, but not too much. And, you know, look for the joy in this. You know, you do have time to, you know, give your dog a really good grooming. Get out there and brush him. It's, you know, shedding season. Or you can try some new trails, or, you know, just enjoy sitting on the couch and cuddling with your cat. That gives us a lot of comfort, and those positive emotions go a long way. So, you know, don't expect your animals to understand what's going on. You know, they do think differently than we do. And, you know, cut them some slack, but not too much. It's not like, you know, it's a free-for-all. You can still have some boundaries with them.
Give them extra time, but also understand they may need their space, just like we do. I'm curious, are you offering telehealth per se options? If someone's really concerned about their pet's emotional health during this time, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. My website is pattypetpsychic@msn.com. Actually, that's my email, but you can email me directly. And I do phone readings. I'm not doing home readings right now, obviously. And it's a half hour. I need you to send me a picture. We can talk about whatever's going on, health issues, behavior problems. You know, I do a lot of end-of-life consultations for people, and that's something that's really important. You know, if you have an animal that's nearing the end of their life, be in contact with your vet, because like my vet has closed the lobby. They have different hours. You know, things have changed a lot with that. So be in contact with your vet. You know, kind of have a plan. Make sure that you've got a supply of medication, and if they're on a special food, that you've stocked up. I went out and bought kitty litter the first thing when they started saying that the country was going to shut down. So, you know, plan ahead for them, and keep your pets safe. You know, this is not a time to, you know, teach your 14-year-old dog how to catch a Frisbee. You know, be smart. Don't put a lot of strain on your vet, but keep in contact with them if you think you may be needing their services.
Well, thank you so much, Patty, for joining us today. These have been really helpful tips to help us think about the emotional health of our animals. Also, give them attention, give them space, keep them on a routine, and also be aware of their needs during this stressful time. We want to again thank Patty, the pet psychic, for joining us today. We have more coming up right after this. We'll be right back.